In fantasy football, it's very easy to fall in love with what a rookie has done in their first season and the idea and the potential of what they could be in year 2, year 3. I mean, let's look at the quarterback position the last 2 years. We had Jaden Daniels, an amazing rookie season last year. And now in year 2, a lot of expectations are that he's going to take a step up and be, if not as good, even better than he was a year ago. And 2023 was the story of C.J. Stroud and how much better he was going to get at that time. And now I'm not trying to make a analogy that Jaden Daniels is going to have some type of major, regression in year 2. That's not the point. The point is, whether good or bad, we already anoint and put pictures in our head of what players are going to be in year 2 before it even happens, whether it's good or whether it's bad. And in examples where it's a very good thing, let's talk the 2023 rookie running back class. We have Devon Achane, Bijan Robinson, and Jahmyr Gibbs in the same draft class. And in year 2, all of those players hit and exceed their expectations the following season after their rookie year. And when I'm looking at ADP, when I'm looking at who I want to draft on Underdog this summer, by the way, if you don't draft on Underdog, you don't play best ball or anything like that, not even a sponsored video, definitely go check out Underdog, play best ball, definitely refine and sharpen the tools in the offseason. There's one player that is consistently not being drafted in the first 2 rounds of fantasy football, yet last year, it was the hottest debate. Were you going to draft this player in round 1 or round 2? And because of a bad, or I shouldn't even say bad, because of an underperforming rookie season, we're ready to, I don't want to say write off this player, but talk about getting a player at a discount who is a high-level prospect. This was a first-round pick that was the talk of the offseason last year. And that's Marvin Harrison Jr. And yes, I understand the argument of he was the wide receiver 30 in PPR, where his ADP lies now on Underdog. He's expected to outperform that a lot. But why isn't top 10 wide receiver back in the conversation again like it was a year ago? Marvin Harrison Jr. is at a discount this summer, boys, and we need to be buying that up till his ADP changes. Let's roll the intro. And to get a better understanding of how good of a value Marvin Harrison Jr. is right now that you could potentially grab at the beginning of 3rd rounds in best ball, let's go over some of the other ADP of wide receivers in that range. So at 10 and 11, we have A.J. Brown and Ladd McConkey. And I think we can all agree that those guys are undoubtedly better than even the potential of what Marvin Harrison Jr. could be in terms of who you're drafting as a player. It's much safer to grab one of those 2 guys. So let's say Marv is not going to be probably one of the 10 or 11 best wide receivers coming off the board in fantasy. So now we're looking at T. Higgins, wide receiver 12. And now I can understand the argument of wanting T. Higgins over a Marvin Harrison Jr. But let's consider that Marvin Harrison Jr. is a number 1 in his offense, so it's likely he's going to get more targets. Last year, as a rookie, he had more targets than T. Higgins, who's a number 2 in his offense. Fair. If Jamar Chase is to go down and get injured, of course you have a premium 1 in T. Higgins. But regardless, all things equal, and everyone's healthy in this scenario, Marvin Harrison Jr. is a 1 with more opportunity than T. Higgins. Despite T. Higgins being a red zone guy that's going to catch a lot of touchdowns, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the red zone guy for the Cardinals, and he's going to get more volume. So I don't see a reason why I need to grab T. Higgins before Marvin Harrison Jr., but if that's your personal preference, I'm okay with that. Now we have Rashee Rice at 13, and I'm just going to leave all of the legality stuff aside, just talking Rashee Rice as a player here, because let's be honest, none of us have any idea what any punishment or suspension could even look like. Rashee Rice as a 1 in his offense, even though he has Xavier Worthy fighting for targets, I could consider that a better draft pick over Marv, but here's where I do disagree. The next 3 wide receivers are Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Tyreek Hill. That's the 3 that go in order next. And I just can't see why there is a need to want to draft Garrett Wilson before Marvin Harrison Jr., where at least we know competent quarterback play is in Kyler Murray's DNA. We don't know for sure how many times and how effective Justin Fields can be as a passer in the Jets offense, where a lot of things are looking brand new. I don't know if I think that's a great idea. I get Garrett Wilson's a great player, but Marvin Harrison Jr. was considered one of the best wide receiver prospects. I'm just not understanding why there are more people and a consensus agreement that we should be taking a guy like Garrett Wilson before Marvin Harrison Jr. And I get it. This is all speculation. This is all me just spewing out what a potential of what Marv could be. It doesn't mean that he can absolutely hit that, but let's talk about his rookie season and how there is room for it to get better. It's really hard to make wide receiver comps in fantasy football, especially because not everyone's quarterback play and offensive scheme is going to be alike. But what I really couldn't help but notice was how similar in terms of, I know this is going to sound crazy, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Marvin Harrison Jr., though Amon-Ra St. Brown had a better rookie year than Marv. We can all agree on that. Both of these players coming out of the draft, some of their best traits and their best skills coming into the NFL were how hard of workers they were and how much they are going to continue to progress and take reps and get better at what they do. And if we could see a jump like Amon-Ra St. Brown in his year two, where he starts to push into elite wide receiver territory after his rookie year, there's no reason to believe that a better prospect, somebody like Marvin Harrison Jr., can't be better, or at least scratch the surface of wide receiver one territory. And I do think it's really interesting where their ADPs are as well between the two players. Amon-Ra St. Brown in 2022, though was considered a very talented rookie, was not really a first or second round pick in every draft, or that was the consensus belief. And the same could be said about Marvin Harrison Jr. One thing that makes me feel comfortable about drafting Marv is that even though it's Kyler Murray, it's competent quarterback play and a connection that should be getting better as time goes on. And if we look at Amon-Ra St. Brown's 2021 stats from his rookie season, we could see 119 targets is pretty similar, though the 90 receptions is a lot more than Marv's, and we'll get into why that is. And the touchdowns is a lot less in 5 versus Marvin Harrison's 8. So now let's go look at Marvin Harrison's stats. Marv only caught 62 of his 116 targets, so that's a lot worse than Amon-Ra St. Brown's rookie season, but the 8 touchdowns saves him. But Amon-Ra in year 2 saw not only a touchdown increase, but a target share increase as well, which makes this a potential interesting idea that maybe we're going to get 130 targets from Marvin Harrison Jr. Maybe 140 targets is in the range of outcomes. And if that's the case, then why aren't we drafting him any sooner? Why aren't we putting him above a guy like T. Higgins, who's a number 2, though it's in a really hyper-effective offense? And if the reason is how little of reception it is in a PPR league, that is a very valid argument. But the truth about Marvin Harrison's targets and lack of receptions is that the deep play just didn't work for them last year. He was 3rd in the NFL amongst wide receivers in deep targets. So he had a lot of opportunities down the field to make that 8 touchdowns, 11, 12 touchdowns. It's not really an unrealistic idea that even if he's not going to have a high amount of receptions, Marvin Harrison Jr., we could see a touchdown increase because he's just that much better than the other players. I mean, obviously the stats do not show that when he goes down the field deep that he's going to catch a lot of the passes, but we've only seen one season, his rookie season, still figuring it out and learning with Kyler Murray. And in year 2, I would think that if a lot of deep shots and deep passes were attempted and didn't connect, there could be some sort of positive regression, just like we see in terms of fantasy football and running backs. We try to predict positive and negative touchdown regression and increation. We're looking at potentially an idea of Marvin Harrison Jr. eclipsing double-digit touchdowns, no problem, just off of the fact that he can catch a deep pass and score a touchdown at any moment. And before you rush to the comments to talk about how just because it's a target doesn't mean he's going to catch it, just because he gets credited for the target doesn't mean he was going to catch it, let's just talk about how good Marvin Harrison Jr. was last year in 2024. Amongst all wide receivers, and this is according to Player Profiler, shout out to Player Profiler if you ever need to do some research on NFL players, college players, This is an awesome database. This is what I use all the time. Marvin Harrison Jr. is 10th in total route wins. Route win. Sounds oddly vague. Doesn't seem like something that could easily be determined like a catch or not statistic. But in terms of creating separation, in terms of getting the opportunity to actually catch deep pass attempts, Marvin Harrison Jr. is winning his routes. Therefore, he is finding ways to get open down the field to make it easier for Kyler Murray to get him the ball. He also had the third highest win rate against man coverage. Yes, we're talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. in his rookie season having the third best win rate versus man coverage in the NFL. Do you know how many good wide receivers there are in the NFL? And had the fifth highest target rate against man coverage. So when he's winning, when he's lined up in man coverage, when he's winning man coverage, he's being targeted. He's getting the football. Marvin Harrison Jr., a former first-round pick in the NFL draft a year ago, and virtually a first-round draft pick last year in fantasy football, should also be considered a high-end commodity this year in 2025. Don't let a really, really good rookie season or a really poor rookie season deter how clearly you think of a player and the prospect that's in front of you. You got to remember, some seasons are going to be better than others. I would likely bet that Marvin Harrison Jr.'s 2025 is going to be a lot better than 2024. And so would everyone else, as it's baked into his ADP. But if you're telling me I get a former first-round pick wide receiver who works really hard, and that's one of his best skills that he brings into the NFL, and had 8 touchdowns his rookie season, and was dominating in terms of getting in and out of breaks and winning versus man coverage, why would I not believe he's going to have a high-end wide receiver season? Why would I not believe that top 12 is in the range of outcomes for this? Let your league mates draft up Garrett Wilson. Let your league mates draft up Tyreek Hill. There's a really good wide receiver in Arizona who has really no target competition behind Trey McBride, who we all know is not the red zone threat there as we saw last year. I get a wide receiver with high volume, high red zone attempts, and big deep plays down the field. So that's going to wrap it up for the Marvin Harrison Jr. glaze. I know this is really weird, 2 wide receiver videos in a row. We are going to start talking about running backs, I promise. There are actually more than one position in fantasy, and it's not just about wide receivers. And I do acknowledge that, and I will be better, and I'll make better videos. But these are things that I'm just noticing when I'm drafting, when I'm in my underdog lobbies, when I'm on stream with you guys. By the way, streaming every Monday, Mock Draft Monday. Make sure you check that out. We do it here on YouTube. If I knew how to do it on Twitch and other platforms, I absolutely would. If you're very savvy on one of those platforms, let me know in the comments. Help a brother out. And yeah, if you stuck around and watched this entire video, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. It means the absolute world to me. If you're new here, you like fantasy football content, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. What are you doing? But if you're already subscribed, you're already a part of Outlier Militia, thank you very much. And make sure you go smash that like button so I know to keep making videos like this one. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Turtle. This is Outlier Fantasy, and I will see you in the next video.